What's up, everybody? Welcome to this episode of the Guitar Riff. We have a special guest here with us today. We have the wonderful Andrew Clarke hanging out with us.
Hey, guys.
Filling in for Ayla. Ayla is away on holidays this week. And my name is Kent. Today we're talking about something I think I wanted to know a lot about as an early guitarist. You see these guitars on the wall that are like a lot of money, and you're like, is that really worth $4,000? Is that a $10,000 guitar? Is that really that much better than an inexpensive instrument? Well, today we're gonna find that out because we have a whole variety of instruments behind us. So we got a whole arsenal here of some affordable guitars, a mid-priced guitar, maybe a little bit more on the upper end. It's kind of in that, I don't know, $2,000 range. And then we have sort of the nicer stuff, the stuff that it would be a little bit more money on the on the price tag there. So the other thing we're gonna do a giveaway today. We're gonna have a pedal of the week. We're gonna demonstrate the Oceans 11, which you can kind of see on the side here, hanging up. And then we're also gonna do a riff of the week, so hang around for that. Fantastic. And I should mention for Andrew's stuff too, you can check out all his YouTube videos. We're talking about a lot of gear stuff today. You have a lot of tons of great gear content.
Yeah, I have a YouTube channel. I post a lot on Instagram, TikTok as well, but the main stuff is on YouTube, and it's mostly focused on gear, kind of understanding, learning gear. Not so much just like, I'm gonna review this pedal, but more just kind of like comparing pedals, comparing different things. Yeah, and I do some lessons and stuff too, so kind of all over the place. But yeah, you can just search my name, Andrew Clarke, and you'll find me on YouTube.
Amazing, and we're happy to have you with us. That's awesome.
Happy
and
to be here.
if you haven't said hello in the chat, please do so. If you have any questions, we will be doing a Q&A at the end for members only. So if you are on the member side, you can ask Andrew and I any question you would like, gear related or anything that you just want to know. Throw that in the questions tab. If you are watching on YouTube and maybe want to come hang out in the Q&A, you can go to guitareo.com/trial, sign up for a free 7-day trial, and you can come hang out over in the member side, ask any questions you want, check out the lessons we got over at Guitareo, lots of great stuff. So let's dive into it. Nice. So Andrew and I are gonna kind of pick sides, I think. It's a little bit more fun this way because we don't want to agree on everything. So we're going to kind of, I don't know, just go through these instruments, see what pros and cons of each. Andrew's taking more of the side of the boutique guitars being the way to go.
Even though we both own boutique guitars.
We both own boutique guitars. And I know you were chatting with me yesterday about wanting to buy more inexpensive.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that, yeah. So, cool. Well, let's start this off. So we'll go through the guitars that we have.
Okay, yeah.
Let me get mine on the ground here. Okay, so let's just go bottom up. We'll have the it's like David and Goliath here. We have a Yamaha Pacifica. So this is like not the most entry-level version of the Yamaha Pacificas. It is the one up from there, but I think it's a great guitar. It's in a very low tuning right now.
Oh yeah.
There we go.
They're awesome. A lot of people growing up, like when I was in high school and stuff, tons of people were on Yamaha Pacificas. I feel like they're a great alternative to kind of the entry-level Fender stuff, Squier stuff, or even some of the Mexi Fender stuff. Like, I feel like the Pacificas are awesome instruments.
Yeah, they're awesome for the money,
yeah,
right? Like,
big time.
This is like, I don't know, it's between $300 and $400 American, I think.
American? Okay.
Yeah. So
it's a little above. I think they have a like even more entry-level stuff.
They do. This is the second tier up from there.
Nice.
But I think basically all the Yamaha guitars I played, like the entry-level ones, are so good. But once I get this thing in tune, no fault of the Yamahas. This was in a whole step down.
Oh, was it? Did you put it back to E standard?
I did.
Okay, nice.
Muted. Hey, there we go. Awesome. So we've got the little Yamaha Pacifica, love that, and then a Sewer. I think a lot of times, some people think you're just paying for the name, and I think that's the case sometimes.
Definitely. I mean, I don't want to throw Gibson under the bus right away, but I know Gibson has been notorious for just kind of leaning on their namesake to be able to kind of sell higher end guitars when maybe some of them are not built as well. So you definitely do pay for the name a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. But I think on some of these boutique companies like Sewer, I know John is like an insane craftsman and like very particular on every guitar that goes out.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about like the differences, like what spec-wise you're gonna get from, I mean, this is a huge disparity.
I
right?
mean, there's
the
probably
range
like a $4,000 difference in price.
Quite literally, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's a big difference, and there's kind of like these sweet spots, I think, with guitars, both electric and acoustic, where kind of the diminishing returns don't make a lot of sense, and you're paying a lot of money for a 1% or 2% gain.
Yeah.
But like with a Suhr guitar, you're getting a compound radius fretboard, you're getting stainless steel frets, you're getting like higher end electronics, which
Yeah.
can go a long way. The nice thing about if you were to go with something like this, you can actually swap out electronics pretty easily, or have someone do it for you. And you could technically change frets, and there's a lot you can do, right?
You could start turning this guitar into that guitar.
You could. Now, where you'd start to run into issues is what Suhr does really well is everything is like very precise. So all their tolerances, very precise. And this would be the same for any high-end instrument. I would say when you're getting like $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, I mean, it's ridiculous, right? But you start to get into this place where the neck profile is just absolutely perfect. There's no flaws. There's nothing frets out. Nothing makes any buzzing sounds. It's very comfortable. It's almost like with Suhr guitars specifically, I always feel like it's like you're getting in a Lamborghini for guitars, right?
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. Now, does that mean that if we switch guitars, like we would be worse players playing on lower end guitars? Probably not. It probably wouldn't change our playing that much, but it's very comfortable and it feels.
We should try it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Why don't we do a little playing
Sure.
on these, and then maybe we'll swap and see how it goes, and see if it really is a difference. The proof is in the pudding, as they say, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
How do you want to do it? Do you want to just come up with a chord progression?
We can just do the same one we did in the intro.
Okay.
So. This guitar.
It's probably got a good setup, right?
Yeah,
Which is
it
like
feels
the number
amazing.
one thing. Yeah.
Incredible. Well, why don't we switch?
Yeah, I don't have a mute here on my board, so I'm gonna need. Okay, we're good.
We'll save everybody's eardrums.
I mean, if there's a little popping, it's okay.
I just wanted to play yours, sir. That's the only reason I'm getting us to
I
switch.
mean, you got your own. I'm sure they're set up differently though.
Yeah, they are a little different.
Are they?
That's cool.
Mine is. You see all the pick scratches?
I've got the same.
Terrible technique. It's just bad technique, man. All right, let's
pristine guitar before.
see. Are we back?
Oh,
Ready?
yeah, let's do it.
This thing's great.
I know, it's like shocking how good that guitar is.
Yeah, I love the satin neck. Is
Yeah.
always like my favorite thing.
Yeah.
One of my other guitars, I have the satin. This one's a little bit sticky. And
Yeah.
it's a sweaty-handed fella.
Yeah.
The satin's so nice.
For those who don't know, satin is essentially like, it's not no finish, but it's just
It's like oiled.
Oiled.
Instead
Yeah.
of, yeah, so it's still protected, but it doesn't have like the sticky finish on the back.
Yeah, it's kind of like if you ever grab like a baseball bat that has, it's like the raw wood, I guess. It's like it's that feel.
Exactly.
Yeah. Super cool. And like, what are your initial thoughts between the two? I mean,
you can feel a little bit, it's like not as easy to play, but to be honest, like if I just set it up more to what I like versus like I play nines. Like I think you play tens, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I play lighter strings. The action on this is a little bit higher. I like my action a little bit on the lower side. Sound-wise, it's not quite what I would be looking for. Like when I'm digging in, it feels a little bit different. But honestly, like set it up like that, I'm not gonna notice a huge difference. Really not.
yeah, I think for me, obviously the neck is different, right?
Yeah.
Like this is the probably nitro on here.
It is,
And
yeah,
then versus the satin, I mean, there was like a feel thing more than anything. But I would be really happy with a guitar like this.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, like I said, the setup is so important. So if you take the time to, whether you take it to someone to get set up or you learn how to do setups yourself,
Yeah.
set up an affordable guitar, you're gonna have something that's 95% of the way there anyway.
Yeah, totally. I'd love to know in the chat if anybody heard a difference between the two, or if the playing sounded exactly the same, or if it's something a little different. It's all very subjective. Yeah, I'm seeing some people talk about Suhr. Those who don't know, Suhr, S-U-H-R, he's a custom guitar builder. I used to work for Fender, but yeah, makes some fantastic
guitars, amps, pedals, tons of great stuff.
Yeah,
so makes awesome stuff.
Yeah, he's amazing. Yeah, some people said definitely different between the two. I think like sonically there is. Like I feel like there's more high end on this Pacifica or something.
It's hard to, I don't know. It's hard because we're listening in ears too, and we hear a bunch of other stuff going on. But it definitely is different. Definitely different.
Yeah, 100%. Well, let's move to we have a Fender American Strat.
Okay.
We'll swap the Pacifica out for it.
Let's do that, yeah.
Because I think that's...
Gonna make a pop again here.
Hey, that Pro Audio team.
All right.
So we've got just like a American Fender Strat here. I think there's been some upgrades to it, but essentially it's a well set up American Strat. Yeah. So you can see if there's, yeah, this is like a little bit, not this price point, but we're like halfway up. So we're not talking about like a $4,000 price difference, $3,000 price difference. We're talking about maybe like $1,000, $1,500 in between.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so a little bit closer. Yeah, I'm liking, Mike Rudolph commented in the YouTube chat, a good setup of your guitar can make all the difference in the world. I 100% agree. I think
biggest thing.
Even if you're buying like boutique guitars, or even if you're buying inexpensive guitars, a setup, I think is just, I wish guitar stores would just say like, get your guitar set up before you take it home. Yeah,
I mean, if you would assume that when you go to a guitar store that every guitar is gonna be well set up, and 99% of the time they play terribly. Like they feel awful. And so sometimes you might pick up your dream guitar and it's like, man, this is not what I expected, right? A good setup can go a really long way.
It's amazing, especially on acoustics. I think that could be like a huge game changer. So if you take one thing away from today's stream, it's that you should get your guitar set up by
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's like whether probably a good guitar tech is the best way to go. If you can do some of the stuff yourself, that's awesome. It's a great skill to have to be able to adjust a few things on the fly. Good guitar techs will tell you their tricks too.
Yeah, I mean that's why they exist.
Yeah,
right? That's where you want to go for sure if you can afford it and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I almost always go to use a guitar tech. I find one I like and I latch.
I don't.
Hard.
and it's funny, I do it all myself, and I've had one guitar tech, and it was the worst setup I've ever had on my guitar ever.
Wow.
Not your guitar tech, who I want to use.
Yeah.
Who's a great guy, and in the future I'll be using him. But yeah, bad experience, and then I haven't gone to one in like 3 years. So.
Yeah. So do your research. Look up, like, I mean, most guitar techs have like Google reviews or like anything like that. Just find, and maybe like look in your local area for like local guitar players. Generally will know who the good techs are. That's how I found my guy here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
cool.
A good tip.
Well, let's put these two together a little bit closer. Okay. We'll do the same thing, maybe. Do a little plan.
I'll tell you something funny. I actually prefer the feel of this
to
this guitar. And this is it a US standard? I'm not sure which one okay.
Yeah.
I think it might be the setup, but also I just prefer the feeling of the frets on this one too. I don't know why.
Wild.
Yeah.
Yamaha's been doing some good things lately with their instruments. I played the new like RevStar line.
Oh, I've heard great things.
Ridiculous. Like, yeah, so good. Cool. Well, that's good to know. I mean, like, and that might be a worthy comparison. Maybe let me switch out the Yamaha for the Suhr. The old switcheroo here.
Fire that in there.
A little out of tune.
Yeah, it fell out of tune pretty quick, which is another thing with more affordable guitars I've found. They do tend to go out of tune, but also it's like -10 Celsius here in Canada, and the air's really dry, and all my guitars have been out of whack and stuff too. So It's part of it.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just more high end on this one. I find.
Yeah.
I especially noticed going back to this. Like I went from played the sewer and then came back to this. Just so it's more like sparkle on the top.
Which I mean, depending on the sound you're going for, and also depending on like your rig. Like if you have a very warm sounding amp, a very warm sounding rig, maybe that's the kind of sound that you're going for too, right?
Yeah, totally. But the real question: do we think the sewer guitar is worth the extra money?
I mean, yeah, 100% to me. To me, it's totally worth the extra money. Just because I've spent my entire life playing guitar, and those small, tiny, little improvements are worth that extra bit of cash. If I was more like just a hobbyist, if I was somebody who just wanted to do it, and maybe I did have the money for it, but it was just like I wasn't serious and guitar wasn't a huge part of my life, then no, I would say that there's a point of diminishing returns where something like this that's well set up, I mean, even something like that, like there's so many great guitars in that $1,000 to $2,000 range. I know like the Fender American Professional series and stuff has got some really good reviews. Then I would say go with that, but if you're like a lifelong guitar player, music's really important to you, then you go with the higher end. I only own 4 guitars.
Right.
So I don't own a lot of guitars. I have 2 Surs. I have a Fano, which is like a hand-built thing, and then I have an acoustic, and those are my guitars. And I used to have way more, and I just prefer to have less higher-end guitars.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like about guitars like probably how like car collectors feel about cars. You know, like Honda Civic is a perfectly fine car. And it can get you to point A to point B, and it'll do everything you need it to do. Yeah. But some people really want like a Corvette or like a Lamborghini or whatever. And I think when you're getting into that boutique market, that's what you're paying for. You're paying for the fun of the extra features, more slick, but it's still the point of it is the same, right? It gets you from A to B. Of course, you can drive a lot faster maybe with some of them, but that's, you know, I think that's essentially the difference between that. And so if you're a person that maybe it's like I think that's the right way to think of it. If you're a hobbyist, maybe you don't need like a boutique instrument. It'd be awesome. I mean, if you have the money and you've dreamt about owning like a sewer or like a Gibson custom shop since you were a kid, that's awesome. I think there's nostalgia attached to some of that, or like a more emotional side.
And they are a dream to play. I will say, like when you pick up a really nice guitar and you're a guitar player who can feel the difference, like it feels so good, right? So there is that little bit.
Yeah, totally. I saw a little question in the chat about guitar setups and learning to do that. Inside Guitareo, we have a course called Ultimate Guide to Recording Guitar. There is a little bit about guitar setups in there. So we talk about adjusting the intonation, which is a huge part if you aren't sure how to do that. On electrics, acoustics is a whole other story. But on electrics, how to do that, changing your strings, just sort of like basic setup stuff. I'd love at some point to do a more in-depth course with adjusting action and how to do that, because there's a lot of basic things that you could do on your own. There's a few things I think like adjusting the truss rod that maybe you want to double check with a professional maybe first.
Unless you're super confident.
Unless you're very confident that you can tweak it. Yeah. There's a few things that I wouldn't personally touch. I just started doing my own truss rods recently. When things get a little out, I've gotten over the nerves of it, but I drove my tech nuts. And when I was in Edmonton, I have like so many questions on how to do that stuff. Yeah.
Interesting. I was a little less intimidated about that. I don't play with frets, like I won't do fret dressing, I won't do fret leveling or anything like that. Truss rod, you're pretty safe as long as you know how to overdo it, and it's always like little tiny adjustments, and you'll kind of be okay. But I don't recommend you do it if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And if you do it, do like a 1/8 of a turn and see what happens.
And always check. Like you got to check every tiny little movement. You need to check and make sure you don't over adjust your neck, because it can damage the neck.
Totally. For the second half of this convo, I know we have some acoustics, but I think there's guitar players talk about it all the time of how like guitar players, you're going to sound like you no matter what instrument you are. We're going back and forth, but I think we should just have you go through all 3 of these guitars and see what happens. So I'll be the guitar trader here.
Okay, yeah.
And then we'll see. I think this will be the most noticeable difference, and then we'll do the acoustics right after.
Sweet.
So why don't we go most affordable, and then go up from there, and then
unplugging.
see. Making our audio
I
team
think
work
we've been
hard.
good about not having any pops, I think.
Okay. So this is the Yamaha. It is the most affordable guitar of the one Andrew's playing is the most affordable of the 3 that we have. Yeah.
Do you want me to just play some
Yeah,
stuff?
let's
and
see,
we'll
see how it sounds.
With the action. But it's cool. It sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Sweet. Okay, so let's move up to the Fender American, and then see how that goes.
Right. Oh, that jack, I don't know what it is about the jack on this thing. It's like you have to push super hard.
Oh, really? Hear a little bit of a difference.
I definitely like tonally, I far prefer this. Like all of a sudden this, it doesn't feel, I still prefer the feel of that. The action's a little high for me, but sound-wise, I feel like there's like more richness.
Right.
I could listen back to this and I could be totally wrong, but right now in the room, it feels like there's like more richness for sure.
Okay. Yeah, I think the same thing. I think this just has a little bit more high end, and adjusting the pickup height might adjust some of that.
Yeah,
tonal
and again,
issues.
you could buy new pickups and you could throw new pickups in there and you'd be really close.
Yeah, but I think it's not too bad. There's like probably $1,000 jump between, or maybe a little bit more between those.
A little more,
and then we'll go to the sewer.
Okay. Bit of a workout.
I know. Yeah, you're getting your arm workout in for the day.
Exactly.
That guitar sounds so good.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, it's probably also because I built the rig to make sure this one sounds good.
Sure.
So, but it's, yeah. I mean,
you know what, you should try my sewer.
I would love to. Yeah.
Okay.
If that's okay with you.
Of course.
I'll just hand you this if that's okay.
Perfect.
Sweet. Because you will, even with similar pickups, similar guitars, like there's always little differences that you notice. Because these are, I think this is an antique as well, right?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah, so they're the same guitar, yours just has a humbucker in the
Yeah,
bridge.
otherwise exactly the same.
Okay. Tonally very similar, but I think the difference I notice is that you use thicker strings and the action's higher.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it's maybe just it's a little bit different. The action's a little bit higher, but the thicker strings definitely notice.
Yeah.
Sounds great though. These are such good guitars.
I know, they're ridiculous. If you ever decide to drop money on an expensive guitar, sewer, I think is the way to go.
And I think
so
there's an important thing like that I believe in, and this is a little bit unrelated to guitars, but if you have your eye on guitars and things, I don't recommend ever going into debt over guitars.
Okay.
I know some people like feel like that's an important thing, but there are so many good affordable guitars. Like you don't need that thing so bad. It's more of one of those things where it's like, if you have the money, you've saved up and stuff, then do it. But don't make an impulse purchase. That's what I know so many guitar player friends who have made mistakes like that. So
Yeah,
that's my one piece of advice. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, that's good advice. One many guitar players do not follow.
Yeah. Yeah. I made that mistake many times.
Yeah, me too, many times. Yeah, I'm curious what everybody thinks about it. I thought it was interesting. They said you look more comfortable playing this one.
Yeah, I mean,
It
it
is
probably
your
makes
guitar.
sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like whenever I pick up another guitar, even if it's a great guitar, I feel a little out of place because
Sure.
you're not used to the tiny little differences, right?
Totally. I mean, even between the two, right? These are both like, in theory, identical, not quite identical, but
Pretty damn close. Yeah.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
And like, you know, outside of the strings, I mean, like, yeah, there's something to be said about when a guitar is yours and becomes kind of like you are part. It's an extension of you at one point.
Yeah, without getting too crazy, like it's wood and metal, and it's all of like these very organic materials in many ways.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of people feel connected to their instruments, and it's not a bad thing. It sounds a little weird. I don't know. Maybe, is that weird? It might be weird, but
the
I
hippie
feel
part of
that
the
way.
show.
Yeah, exactly, right? But I feel that way. I definitely feel like a bit of a connection to my instruments that I play
Totally.
the most.
Yeah, I agree. And I've owned like boutique guitars that I didn't get that connection with.
Yeah.
And I've sold them because it was just like I just couldn't become. I don't know. It just didn't feel like
one with the guitar.
become one with me. It didn't align with my chakras at all.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like, there's, I don't know, just because it has the price tag on it doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna be the right guitar for you.
No, I mean, we mentioned, I don't want to get off tracks too much, but we talked about like how I'm gonna be looking at more affordable instruments for multiple reasons. Like one of them just being for my own stuff that I do, I feel like it's more fair when I'm comparing gear and I'm comparing a pedal with things that people actually have access to. I think that makes sense. But I think also like I traveled, I lived overseas for a year. I brought this.
Okay.
I brought this guitar, and it was one of the scariest things I've ever done is bringing a guitar. It's like, why would I not have a $1,000 guitar maybe, or even less, like that I like and plays well because it can be so close that I can travel with, or if I'm going to tour with, or whatever. And I feel like having those is important, and I feel like it's actually like something I'm missing.
I think there is something to be said of like what your use of the guitar is going to be might impact the one that you buy, because on tour stuff gets stolen all the time. It's very common, or things get damaged, or like and you don't want that priceless guitar.
Yeah.
At risk of something like that, right? Yeah. So I know there's a ton of guitar players that have their like home recording setup and home rig, and then there's the rig that they take with them. Yeah. And typically the vintage instruments stay at home, and then the like, if I lose this, it would suck, but I'm not going to be heartbroken.
Yeah, unless you're Joe Bonamassa. I think he takes like his 59 Les Paul like
he
on
takes
the
all like his Dumble amps too, right? Like, yeah.
Millions of dollars worth of stuff, by the way, literally.
Yeah, it's crazy. Cool. Well, did anybody have any opinions on all of these? I've been seeing a few comments here and there, but do we prefer one or the other? Do you have your own experience? I'd love to know in the chat, have you gone to the guitar shop and tried various pricings of guitars? It's worth doing, actually. Like, just go to your local guitar center or whatever is nearby you along McQuaid if you're in Canada, and just try the different guitars and see if it's even worth the money. It's good to know yourself.
And don't judge a guitar for its bad setup. Remember that.
Yes, there you go. Yeah, that's the one thing to take away from today.
Yeah.
Amazing. Cool, some people are saying, I believe a guitar that costs up to $1,000 could possibly be as good as one that costs thousands more. And I agree. I think I've played lots of inexpensive guitars that play like a dream. So
completely agree.
Yeah, amazing. Cool. All right, we're gonna move into the next part of the show, which is our pedal of the week.
Sweet.
Do you wanna stay on that, sir, or you wanna go back to your...
I want to be comfy. Yeah. Here we go.
Okay, so today we're doing a sort of new segment, sort of by request last week, because I think Ayla and I did like a pedal, or like dream pedal, and we both actually picked a delay.
I watched that. I thought that was so fun. I would have chosen something totally different.
What would you have picked?
I would have chosen a fuzz, of all things. Because, I'm sorry, I'm getting off track, but I'll put a fuzz on and I'll show you why. It's a little ridiculous at first. Gotta wait for my volume to come back here. So I have an overdrive.
Yeah.
Then I turn the volume up. You have like a full range of overdrive sounds just with your volume knob on your guitar. And so instead of it being like, because otherwise it would just be an overdrive for me.
Sure.
I'm not a delay guy. I like reverb, but for me it would be overdrive, but fuzz, you get everything. Anyways, that's all.
Amazing.
That's all. Yeah.
You know what? I realized I had a brain fart. We didn't even do the acoustics.
Yeah. Maybe we just do it quick.
We'll do it really quick. We're gonna do a quick acoustic shootout. Same thing. We kind of have, we had David and Goliath before. This is even like more insane, the price difference. We'll just have you play both, because I think it's good to hear one person playing these instruments. So we're gonna go with the fairly affordable Yamaha acoustic. I can't remember the exact model in there.
Does it say?
FG.
FG 800. We recommend this one to people all the time.
Yeah, it's a great acoustic guitar. Yeah, it just sounds awesome. Give it a little play.
Okay.
I like it. It's solid.
Yeah, I mean, this just sounds like a good acoustic guitar. It actually feels really good too.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Okay, I'll just more and more guitars. And then we've got kind of the like couldn't be nicer acoustic.
I mean, couldn't be nicer, but also really beat up and kind of sad, which I feel really bad about.
I think that's good for an acoustic. I think acoustics need to be a little beat up.
Yeah, it gives it a story, right?
Yeah.
Guitars have a story.
Every ding is a story.
Okay, it might be a little out of tune. We'll see.
That thing sounds so nice. That's the Collings. Do you remember? Or what's the model?
Yep, it is. It's a D1. So it's basically a Martin D18, which is like the standard bluegrass American acoustic guitar.
Yep.
You know, like it's
very classic.
very classic guitar. And I would not have spent so much money on this. I got it used, so I got it like, for a great price. I don't play acoustic nearly enough to justify it.
Sure.
But it's a great instrument. It sounds good.
I mean, we're talking like off the shelf. Like this might be like a $7,000 or $8,000 difference between the two guitars.
Yes, I did not pay that. I don't want people to judge me.
There's no judgments. I mean, like it's Collings makes killer acoustics, but I don't know, like that price difference. I mean, they both sounded fine. I think it's when you go back and forth that you really start to hear.
I think that context is so important, right? Because then you hear like the very clear contrast. This one projects a lot more. It's got a very, but I mean, is it worth thousands of dollars? I probably not. For me, it is just because I've played for so long. The same reasons as going with the Sir, right? It's the same.
Well, and if you're only going to have one acoustic, it makes sense that you're just get a good one.
Yeah,
and like
I totally. And again, and I think this can be just as much the case. There is that point of diminishing returns. That $1,500, $2,000 acoustic is only going to be. This is only going to be 2 or 3% better. It's not going to be that much better, something like this, at least from the guitars that I've played.
I find you get the harmonics ring out a lot more on the nicer acoustics when you're paying for like the premium like tone woods and like the hand carving. That's when you really hear that like sparkle and like the little intangibles. That
and it's something that to me, like obviously the playing is nice and the tone is nice, but it's really something you're going to notice more like if you're recording.
Yes,
right?
100%.
You're miking the guitar up and doing things like that. If you're just playing at home, having a nice guitar feels great, but you can get great feeling guitars that maybe don't sound quite as good, but it's not really going to matter so much.
Totally. And you might not want to bring this to a campfire. Like,
no way.
Yeah,
are you kidding me? No. No.
So if you're going camping, a little cheap beat up guitar might be the perfect instrument for you.
Yes.
And like it's going to do the job. So I think if you're wanting to record and get a really good like acoustic guitar sound at home or for the studio, if you're or anything like that, then maybe you want to drop the extra bucks. If you're just playing with your buddies outside in a campfire and weather could be questionable, that might not be the right instrument.
Well, an important thing to note is weather, because this guitar, the reason I got it so cheap, it actually split because it was out in Quebec and the cold, dry weather split the guitar and it had to be repaired. And that's even, I mean, it's the case with electrics, but even more so the case with acoustics. So I'm not taking this out in the rain. I'm not taking this out in the winter, nothing.
Yeah, that's how I got my acoustic for cheap too, actually.
Oh, really?
The same thing is split on the back.
So you guys need to look for, if you're looking for used stuff, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, split acoustics.
Just broken acoustic guitars.
Search broken acoustic guitars. Great.
Cool. Okay. Well, I don't know. Between the two, should we go back to the affordable
maybe
one?
I'll do one more like.
One more of that. Back to the cheap one. Excellent. And then back to the Yamaha.
Great. It still sounds like acoustic guitar. Still sounds good to me.
Yeah,
Better than
totally.
a lot of acoustics I've played, actually.
Yeah, 100%. Amazing. Yeah, some people are saying night and day between the acoustics. I think you can really hear it more on the acoustics. I think that's like, if you're gonna drop some money, acoustics where you'll really notice that big difference.
And you can't upgrade
Right.
the top on an acoustic like you can pickups in an electric, right? It's a little
100%.
Yeah.
So, cool. We're gonna move on now to the pedal of the week segment. So Andrew's gonna plug in. We're featuring the Electro Harmonix Oceans 11. Excellent, we got a good shot of that there. So this is just called a multi-reverb pedal. I bought it for the spring reverb because I think it's like one of the best spring emulations. But Andrew's just gonna play some electric. I'm gonna turn the pedal on, and there's too many settings here to go in depth on all of them, but we'll just kind of go through and talk a little bit about reverb. I think reverb is like one of the most essential effects for guitar players. Reverb just adds kind of that, it makes it sound like it's playing in a room. It gives you more like depth to the any sound, acoustic or electric sounds great. And it's kind of a must-have for certain genres of music. Like
I don't think I would, I mean, I talked about the fuzz being so essential, but I don't think I would ever want to play guitar without reverb, even as natural reverb in a room, right? But like closed compressed guitar with no reverb on it is a very unsettling sound.
Totally, yeah. And it's like, some amps have it built in. If you have a Fender amp, probably some reverb in there. But if you don't, you can get an external pedal like this one. So this one has 11 different settings, that's the name. So it's got hall, spring, plate, I always forget what's on here, reverse reverb, echo, tremolo reverb, modulated reverb, a dynamic reverb, auto, infinite, so like a infinite sustain thing, a shimmer verb, and then polyverb, I think it has like different intervals in there.
Oh,
but
cool.
but yeah, we'll just go through them. We'll just start, you can kind of just know what they are and kind of what you look for in a reverb. Most reverbs are gonna have some sort of mix knob, so you like how loud the reverb is gonna be. So is it a lot of the regular guitar going through, or is it a lot of the effect coming through?
Yep.
And so in this one, they put it as effect level. You might see different names for that.
Mix is the standard.
Yeah, mix, wet, dry, like there's many terms for it, something like that. There's usually how long the reverb's gonna go for, like decay. This one says time, so it's setting how long you want it. So when you play a note, is it gonna ring out forever? Is it gonna be really short? And there's a genre of music might determine how long that's gonna be. And then this one has a tone that's not as common.
No.
But you can, it's kind of an EQ setting, essentially. Some will also have what they call pre-delay, so like how quick the reverb kicks in after you play the note. And some people like, they want to hear the note and then the reverb comes in a little bit after. Some want it more at the same time.
When you have like more reverb going on, having more pre-delay separates your guitar signal a little more from the reverb, so it makes the guitar a little easier to hear if you're using a lot.
If you're finding it getting too washy, then you're gonna want to add more pre-delay. So, but let's try it. So this is just a hall setting, so it's just kind of like a medium-ish reverb, or I should have it off first, so you can hear. Nice.
We do not need fuzz.
It's no reverb. Let's turn it on. Here. Almost essential for playing by yourself.
I mean, I love that. That sounds great.
It's insane. This is my favorite thing, the spring.
Okay. That is a great sounding pedal.
It's got that, they call it drip, that thing at the beginning, the bubbly thing.
You're talking about like the sound of the spring that you really hear. Yeah, the drippiness for sure.
And hopefully this doesn't blow people's ears out, but this is the reason I bought this.
Okay.
Can,
Wait, it's turning it on and off?
yeah, if you turn it off and on really fast, it emulates the sound of kicking the spring.
I was gonna say, the amount of times that I've had to turn my amp reverb off because of that stupid sound.
They built it in.
Love it.
It's awesome. As soon as I saw that, I was like, yes, I'm buying this. Because I pulled up this pricing here. It's only Sweetwater has it for $176 right now, US. So it's not like a super expensive.
For a multi-reverb, that's a great price, especially for a good sounding multi-reverb. There's some other ones out there that you can probably find for cheaper, but
Yeah.
this one sounds great. Yeah.
Let's we'll just keep going through. This is a plate. If you like 80s rock, you've heard plate reverb for sure. I'm just gonna keep going through. This is the reverse. That's so weird.
That sounds bizarre.
Echo, so more of like a quick delay. Oh, there's a lot of delay. Some tremolo. This is the modulated. It's like Brian Eno.
That is like the quintessential like worship guitar tone. Like I grew up in the whole worship scene, and that is like,
Yeah, instant vibes setting like.
I like that.
Yeah, crazy. Just keep going. This is the dynamic. I think it comes
Volume, maybe?
Volume, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it gets out of the way and then it.
So it's like ducking. It's
Ducking,
like using
yeah.
ducking, yeah.
Yeah. So essentially, with anything that's ducking in a delay or a reverb pedal, when you play, it pulls the effect down, and then when you stop, it brings it back up.
That's kind of cool. That's handy.
Very
Yeah.
handy. This is infinite. We'll see what happens here.
Okay,
Super
just
infinite.
lasts a long time.
I know you can hook up a effect pedal to this, or expression pedal
I
to
can see
get
that
this
being
going.
useful, yeah.
Keep going. This is Shimmer. I love Shimmer. This is like Brian.
It's very oh, that's beautiful.
So cool.
It's got like an organy kind of thing.
100%. Yeah, I just think of like Brian Eno or like Danielle Lanois when I hear that like Shimmer reverb.
wild.
Super cool. Shimmer reverb is the reverb, but then it's an octave up, so you'll hear multiple layers of the guitar in there. So like an octave pedal mixed with the reverb. And then there's one more, which is the poly, which I'm blanking on what this.
Okay. So it's got like if you like think of like a pog, it's got the pog applied to the reverb effect.
100%.
Yeah, that's cool. Polyphonic octave generator.
Yes, that's what it is. Yeah, it's like kind of more than one interval at a time, not just an octave up. But yeah, this is a great pedal. Like I bought it purely for the spring, but the other sounds are awesome, and it's got some secondary switching. Like there's a button in the middle. If you hold it, it opens up more specific tweaking that you can do to the effects depending on which one you're on.
Yeah.
But it's a really nice sound. Somebody, Kevin wrote about this pedal that it sounds like inspiring to write songs. I find reverb does that.
Oh yeah.
Like it changes everything, I think.
I think reverb, delay, I think a lot of people have this similar feeling about delay. I'm not a big delay guy, but I'm a big reverb guy. And reverb is like such an inspiring effect.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's one of those that's just like one chord sounds really cool. We had some people were asking about it. Can we get one more close-up of this guy? This is the Oceans 11 from Electro Harmonics. It's not a super expensive reverb. It's not like a $50 reverb pedal, but as far as reverb pedals are concerned, it's very affordable. This is from my personal collection. It wasn't something we were given or promoted to. Like I paid full price for this thing. So yeah, I really love it. I think it's a cool little pedal if you're getting into reverb.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I know the price point was 176 American, according to Sweetwater. So sweet. Let's dive into our next segment, which is Riff of the Week. We're gonna show great Blink-182 riff. That What's My Age Again. We're gonna have it pull up on the screen. It's gonna be crazy. Wow. The future is now. I love this riff because it is an awesome way to work on your picking, because it's kind of a sustained 2 notes. So it's like the 11 and the 11 on. Those are kind of the top notes, and essentially the lower part is changing. So it starts with the 9th fret on the D string, going to the 11th fret of the G string, and then 11th fret of the B string, and you just kind of cycle through that. So it's 9, 11, 11, 11. And then all that changes is where that first note is. So we did 9, 11, 11, 11. And then instead of there, you're just gonna move to the 5th string and keep everything else the same. So we did. And then all you do is just move to the 6th string. Whoops, see, that's why this riff is a good one to work on. So basically, it's like an easy one to memorize, because you're just going from the 4th string, 5th string, 6th string, and then the last note is where they change it up. So you go to 11 on this, 11 on the 6th string, and then the top notes are the same. But that is the pattern for the whole tune. It is very fast, but it's an awesome one to work on picking. If you're somebody who maybe wants to work on your picking accuracy, rather than learning like a mindless picking exercise, using a tune is a good way to do it. And this is one of my favorite riffs for working on that stuff. So it causes a lot of questions of what to do with your picking hand.
Because you're doing string skipping, which is actually kind of an advanced picking technique.
100%. Yeah. And even if you do this one slow, it sounds really nice. So you don't have to get it to Tom's full speed,
right?
You know, but actually if you put on some reverb, this would sound really killer.
It would.
Let's do it.
You don't get reverb. Only I get reverb.
Only. Oh.
I don't know this riff. I'm learning it right now as you. See, you got me cheating already. I'm going like this.
The hybrid picking. Yeah. Yeah, and then you could do it that way. There's nothing wrong with. I feel like this is a great riff to experiment with different kinds of picking. So Andrew was using the pick and then the fingers to play the other notes, which is awesome.
It has a very different sound than the original, like the tom part. It's gonna be picking, I'm sure.
Yes, yeah, he definitely picks it all, which is wild. And he screws it up live all the time.
Really?
And it's fine, because punk rock music, that side is, on the recording he got it right, so
that's all that matters. They probably just had him play it once and then just looped it. That's a cool one.
It is a great little riff. Yeah. I don't know. I just like, rather than practicing specific techniques, I like to find songs that use those techniques. Yeah. And for me, if you want to work on picking, learn this riff. It's probably been on screen long enough to get a good screenshot.
Yeah, grab a screenshot.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a really fun riff. So that is our riff of the week. We're gonna do one every week. If there's something you might want to know, you can always shoot us an email, and we can take some requests within reason. I can't play Through the Fire and Flames.
No?
No, shockingly.
Neither can I.
No,
There's no way.
Not even on Guitar Hero. So.
Oh, that I could do.
Okay.
Way back.
Way back in the day.
I think that was on Rock Band, actually. I can't remember. Anyways.
That's so funny. Let's do our giveaways. So for today's giveaway, we're giving away a Guitareo membership on the YouTube side, and then we're going to give away a Guitareo swag pack, or I should say the survival kit for the member side. So we'll do some trivia. That usually works well. Do you want to pick a trivia question for the?
Yeah, sure. Are we ready? Like, should I just?
Let's do it. YouTubers, if you're watching, get your hands ready to go. This is for the annual Guitareo membership. Andrew will ask a question. First one to answer in the chat will win. So.
Okay. We said that there was one thing that you should do to every single guitar, and it's like the most important thing that you can do to every guitar to make it play great. What is it? Get what?
Let's see. Setup. Wow, right away.
So fast.
That was so fast. That was wild. Retro, Spectre, reversed. I kind of like I butchered that a little bit. Retrospectorverse. You have won a Guitareo membership. Congratulations. That's so exciting. You were so fast on that. That's awesome.
crazy.
Shoot me an email or shoot an email to team@guitareo.com, team@guitareo.com, and we will get you set up with an annual Guitareo membership. You can come hang out over on the member side for the next stream, which will be awesome. Congratulations. So cool. Amazing. Well, let's move over to the member side. So the members are going to win a Guitareo survival kit, which is right behind Andrew's head there. Yep, right there. Filled with a Guitareo, oh, I'm blanking on the name of the tuner. What is it called?
Oh, I know it too. Oh no.
Oh no.
It's the good one.
It is the good tuner. The 360.
Thank you.
Nexus. There we go.
Yep.
It came back to me. The Guitareo Nexus 360 tuner. The Guitareo's survival book, which has chords, scales, all the essentials, strings. If you are wanting to purchase it on its own, it is available in the Guitareo shop. You can go check that out. But let's pick another. Let's do another trivia. You're the guest. So you can pick another
man,
one. I'm
okay,
so
now
bad
I-
at picking
now I
trivia
gotta think.
questions.
Okay, well, put me on the spot. Okay.
I know.
So what is the category or type of pedal that was featured in the pedal of the week? What type of pedal was it? They're not as fast.
Ryan B.
that was
Reverb.
pretty
There you are. That was really quick.
That was,
that was
pretty
super
quick.
quick.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a delay too.
Nice job, Ryan. That was awesome. Reverb is correct. This Oceans 11 is a reverb pedal. Fantastic. So Ryan, you have won a Guitareo survival kit. Please shoot me an email at kent@guitareo.com and shoot me your shipping address and we'll get that sent off to you right away. Congratulations. So cool. Amazing. So that brings us to the end of the stream. Members, hang around. We are going to do a Q&A right after this, so don't go anywhere. YouTubers, if you're watching, feel free to go to guitareo.com/trial, sign up, and hang on over in the member side for some Q&A. Next week, we will have no Riff. Ayla and I are both away next week, and we will be back in 2 weeks, same time, same place, same bat channel, so definitely want to be here. Thanks so much, Andrew, for hanging out.
Thanks for having me, guys.
It was awesome.
It was awesome.
We'll have to have you back more often, I think.
I feel like we should.
Yes, I love that. Cool. All right, well, thank you to all the YouTubers, members, hang around, and we'll see you guys next time. And we'll see you in the Q&A in a few minutes here.
See ya.